Dr. Mehmet Oz is here with a wake-up call. It turns out that even if we eliminated all the cancer in this country, our average life expectancy would increase by only 3 years. As Dr. Oz writes in this month's AARP magazine, poor fitness is more deadly than any specific disease. So he's here now to give us 6 easy steps to get us healthier and live longer. Good to see you again.
Thanks, George.
The good thing about these steps is you can start them at any time.
The younger the better, obviously, but no matter when you start them, within 3 months of initiating the program, you can begin to measure a life expectancy benefit. So get started.
Within 3 months?
Within 3 months. And don't make time your excuse, because you'll reap huge time dividends at the end, because you'll live longer and better.
And the first tip is very simple but very hard to do. Eat a little bit less every day.
When you look at the results on calorie restriction, and I'm talking about 10-15% less calories. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. It's not a big deal. This is a pretty robust daily repertoire of foods you could eat. This will gain you about 25% increased longevity, because when you eat a little bit less, your cells get more efficient. They know they can't waste time reproducing, so they have to be very efficient about it. It also reduces cancer rates. So this diet here that I've outlined is just one example. We have several that are available on the website, but it's something that everyone can do.
And it's basically 5 small meals a day rather than 3 big ones.
And the key goal for that is you never want to eat on an empty stomach. You always want to have a little bit of food in your stomach, so you don't let that ghrelin hormone rage mercilessly and force you to eat more than you actually want to eat. A little bit of food will remind you that you're not hungry.
And you have to track everything. There are a lot of health numbers that everyone needs to know.
One of the mistakes people make is they hop on the scale, they think that's it. It's not. There's 6 basic numbers you want to know. You want to know your blood pressure, your blood sugar, you want to know your cholesterol numbers. That up here on the screen, you can see them full. We also want you to know your waist size, because your waist size drives those first 3 numbers. You want to know your thyroid stimulating hormone. It's one of the ways we can assess the metabolism of the body. And vitamin D is the 6th number. All of them easy to obtain. It's a single blood test.
And keep track of them every month.
No, you want to know them once in your life, and roughly when you know where you are, every few years, each of them vary a little bit, you recheck on them. But again, you got to know them. If you don't know your most recent numbers, then you're missing the boat.
Eat less, exercise more.
Exercise is the most important thing when you look across societies that live a long time. You want to have vigorous, rigorous daily activity. Start off with 30 minutes a day of walking. And you want to walk at a good pace, George. You want to really get a little bit breathy as you're doing it. And then you want a little bit of strength exercise, and you want to make sure you can maintain your balance, because falls are a leading cause of death in America. I'll give you a little test.
Okay.
All right? You want to stand up. You can lift your leg up in the air. Right? And here's the part. Close your eyes. Right? Now, we won't do it the whole time, but you lose your balance pretty quickly. Over time, though, that's wonderful, actually.
Thank you.
It really is. But over time, you actually get better and better at it. And practicing your balance is important for brain longevity. You think about doing crossword puzzles, they're fine. But the most important thing is to use your brain to do the aggressive kinds of things like dancing and balancing yourself, because it requires the brain to do lots of processing at once.
That's physical, also psychological. You have to find purpose and put it all together.
Yeah, you want to find out what your untapped desires are in life, and then you want to figure out why you're not pursuing them. You also want to deal with stress. Nagging unfinished tasks, also called nuts, are small little things in your life you never deal with, like the screen door hitting you on the bottom as you walk out. Right? And then the final step is put it all together, automate your life. If it's not self-evident, if it's not happening automatically, if you're thinking about it all the time, it's not the right plan for you. When you don't realize you're on a plan, that's the plan for you.
And you got to have that kind of integrity when you say putting it all together.
Yeah, you know, it takes a lot of effort for people to organize their lives so they can really focus in on what's important. And too often we lose that intent. And in purpose, you generally find what you need in your life. If you don't give your heart a reason to keep beating, it won't.
Okay, finally, you're going to be doing a special show tomorrow on post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Well, this is an exclusive for us. We actually, many folks remember that chimpanzee attack last year that terribly disfigured the young woman who ended up having a face transplant. The first responder was a police officer who has never spoken out publicly about this since. And unfortunately, he went through a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder, something that a lot of folks...
Well, you would have never thought about it in a situation like this.
Well, he shot a chimpanzee that he had known since it was a baby. Chimpanzees are almost essentially the same genetics as us, so it was as though he shot somebody that he knew. And then he had to deal with the disfiguring elements of this woman's care. And you know, when I asked him what it was like when she reached her hand up, he said she didn't reach her hand up, there was no hand. It changed his life.
Wow. Okay, we'll look forward to seeing that. Thanks very much.